Hello there everyone, my name is Nathan Birch. Today I'm going to be going through my example of the investor calculator project. So the application is required to have a home page with a JS and CSS file, but the computer wants to ensure that it is ready to add more functionality. So looking at the design, let me just pull this up and I can show you guys my structure for this. So here is my investment calculator folder right here. I have a site JS file and a site CSS file, and then inside of it, I have my home page, which is where my calculator is. And if I ever wanted to add to this, I could just make another folder with another set of files like this, and I'd be ready to go. Okay. With that said, let's go ahead and look at it running. Well, let's go through the requirements first. It has a professional look and feel, includes a form with the following fields: balance of the account, the annual interest rate, and the duration of the investment in months. A button to submit the form. Implements the following functions. Submit data. This function will retrieve the form data and check for validation error. So all three of the numbers in our form need to be present. There needs to be something there, and they all need to be at least 0. If there is an error, if any one of those conditions isn't met, display the error by calling the update DOM function and stop the remaining code execution. If there's not an error, call the compute future value function. Update DOM. We have two parameters here: a value for what we want to put into the page and a color for that value. This function will display the error message when there's a validation error. It will also display the future value if all the code execution goes well. Okay, so from submit data, either we're going to call update DOM with the error, so we'd have an error message and then we'd have probably a color of red, or we'd call compute future value. This one takes 3 parameters. We have balance, annual rate, and months. This function will include the loop and the logic to add each month's interest onto the balance to compute the future value. After the value has been computed, call the update DOM function. And here we would pass in the future value of the investment, however much money it would be, and then a color, maybe green or blue or something. Okay. Stretch challenge, centering the labels and inputs of the form to make them look nice. Find a professional image that reminds you of investments to use as the body background, and add commas to the output value number if it's at least 1,000. Okay, so it should look like this if you output it. And these are just stretch challenges. Okay. All right, let's look at mine real quick. So I did find an image that made me think of investments. I just Googled investments and used this as my background image. Initial account balance, let's say I did like $10,000, and we have an 8% interest. And let's say it's for 10 years, so 120 months. Calculate final value. Our final investment is $22,196.37. Okay, you can see this is colored. It's green, looks nice. I have a comma right there in here. If I had just $1,000, you can see there's just a single comma. And if I had $5, you can see we don't have any comma there. Okay. If I take any one of these out, please include valid values for these 3 fields. So a nice simple error message that's going to display in the same spot. And so if I was going to show you guys my code, I have a div right here. You know what? I actually will show you guys my code. So I have a div ID with output. So anytime I call this update DOM function, inside of it, I say, hey, document.getElementById output .innerHTML equals value, and then I assign the color to that element as well. Okay, and then I just have a form. I did have to include this return false to make sure that my page wasn't refreshing after submitting the form. Just so you guys know, that's a little bit of a tip for you guys. But then in the form, I actually ended up using a table to help with my spacing. I originally didn't have a table, but the table made it really easy to have things line up nicely. So another tip for you guys. Let's see, anything else? So I guess I also checked if there was negative numbers in here, then it would give me this same error. Please include valid values. And as soon as I give it a valid value, it'd give us a good number. So, all right. So that's my walkthrough for this one. Hopefully that's helpful in kind of getting you started and giving you an idea of kind of what to look for.